Hey guys, so on this episode of Make It with Calvin, I'm going to talk about going from a sheet of paper here, which has an order from a friend of mine, to the physical parts here that are going to get put into a box and sent out to my friend. So let's dive into it. I want to make it abundantly clear for this video. Obviously, I've blocked out my friend's personal information, but I had their express permission to use this for this video. Don't worry, unless I have your permission, your order's not being featured on here. That being said, though, let's actually talk about the order in a nutshell. In short, my super awesome friend Sammi ordered up two packs of my Tichy Train Group 2034/2037 wood replacement Dutch doors. In short, these are laser cut wood / laserboard doors that are a direct replacement for the Tichy Train Group 34 through 37 door range. They're different doors, come in different sizes. This is a size that I use on my Western building kits. They're nice doors, but I also kind of like having some flexibility to do my own thing because the same doors can get a little old after a while. That being said, though, I don't have any parts for this currently in stock. Normally, I will keep components laying around, but because this is more of a one-off item, I've decided that I'm only going to cut these on an as-needed basis until I have a reliable source of the 1/32 inch laser board that I use for the door skins. All right, so the heart of the door is this 1/16 inch plywood. This obviously is the sheet that it got cut out of, and I opted to cut a few more pieces while I was at it, just to have a little bit of inventory on hand. Thankfully, this stuff is relatively easy to source, lasers really easily, so that's the easy part. This is the other half of the equation, or third of the equation, and I'll explain that in a minute. This is what's called laserboard. It's a paper product that's been impregnated with resin, and it is an amazing material to work with. The only drawback is it can be a bit challenging to find because most of the producers for this will gladly sell you a giant roll of it. And for those of us in the hobby industry, we want more like sheet sizes. So thankfully there are companies that you can buy this from. The only problem is shipping on it is a bit expensive. So it's one of those things where buy a whole bunch at once to make the shipping worth it and then, divvy it out from there. On the back side of this, I have some 3M double-sided adhesive. So the nice thing is once the parts get cut and the final client gets their parts, or I'm going to do it, peel off the adhesive, literally just stick the parts down, apply a little bit of pressure. They will come up if you peel hard enough, but for this application, they're stuck good and well. So this combo is absolute fire. So with that out of the way, let's jump on over to the laser because there's a bit of cutting that needs to get done, and then we'll come on back and talk about packing and shipping. Okay, so I got the lasering done, and I opted not to show on camera necessarily picking the door parts out from the scrap material. You'll get a lot of pieces like this, and I promise there's some method to my madness behind saving this. In short, I figure if I need to cut something out, this is actually a decently sized piece, and the rest of the stuff in here might actually be useful to somebody for like an art project or something like that. And quite honestly, if nobody wants these, I don't have any problems throwing them away. I just figure you never know. That being said though, it did take a minute to sort all the pieces out and make sure we had everything that we needed, but we have 16 door frame parts and 16 door skins in here. And yes, it takes a little while to laser cut these out. It's mostly because of the fact that 1/32 inch laser board is a fair bit for the laser to go through, and I can't run my laser at stupidly fast cutting speeds because of the wonderfully sloppy mechanism in it. But you know what? It's a sub $500 laser. It gets the job done. It makes me money. I can't complain. So in here are the wood parts, and what I've opted to do is to laser the parts into effectively a sprue, and on the top I have listed not only the model number that this fits, but also the door opening that this fits. So if you're going to use this on a DIY build or something like that, you know exactly what's in there. Also, it makes packing and shipping a little bit easier because I know, hey, somebody ordered 4 sets of doors. I got to pull 4 sheets of plywood. We're done. What I did is in spots, I have it where it cuts all the way through, and then in other spots where it does an engrave line, which goes deep, but not all the way through. So that works out perfectly. Now, as for sending these, I know I could theoretically stick them in a bubble mailer, but if a recent experience with a friend of mine who sent me some soap was any experience with that, if you stick it in a bubble mailer, it might get a little dented in transit. And let's face it, these door braces are a bit delicate. So what I'm going to do off camera is stick these bad boys in a box, get them over to the post office, and send them out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very condensed view of what it takes for me to fill an order. There's a couple of things that I definitely know I could streamline the process on, but certain things like laser cutting times and things like that, honestly, there's just nothing I can really do about that. That is something that, you know, it's a set time, and that's something to consider. Thankfully, laser cutting is a lot faster in most applications than, say, 3D printing something. But at the same time, if you're going to run a shop, that's just something to keep in mind is what's your time worth on top of all of your other expenses. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and if you're curious about any of the stuff that I make, I will have a link in the description and also a pinned comment to my Etsy shop where you can check out, well, all the stuff that I've got. And if you got any suggestions, I'm all ears. All right, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you here next time on Make It with Calvin.